Hey everybody, this is Chad Warren. It is 8:41 a.m. 2/13/2025 here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Hope you're doing great. This video is a excerpt of content created by Third World Assassin, Clint Eastwood. It's anonymous, where he is going to read an excerpt, and it's not actually from the book you see pictured here, but those are one of the two books I saw on Amazon for Dr. Cuddy. So that's why I have that up there. So I don't know the exact source of what he read, but if I get that from Clint, I will put it in here. But basically, the reason I'm making this video is because Clint is a friend and I like his content. He's nice to let me on his show. And I would direct you to Clint because he is a disciple, a serious scholar. However wild he may be in his banter on his live streams, he cares very much about uh, the Constitution and the experts and patriots that we have outside of this manufactured alternative media post Alex Jones. There was Bill Cooper that was very involved in establishing the Constitution Party and had actual people that had press credentials. This is all before the internet. So the problem that we have today is that it is good that people like me can make these videos, but really, as much as communicating, we need to be focusing on the people that are most able to do what we're trying to do, which is to have an effect in terms of intellect and debate and discussing this in terms of politics, etc. And we need to do this very grassroots because the Trump thing is essentially a lesser of two evils. Uh, Socialism light for the alt right, you know. It's simply communitarianism is a fancy word for this managed merger into this global system. And then, like I'm always saying, I think it does make sense to be just as critical of the whole idea of America, its history, its past, as we are right to be like, this is as good a thing as we've ever had, and the Constitution is important and all of that, because um, looking back, it seems that America was made solely for the purpose of these globalists having this one world order, and it was a stepping stone toward that. And we see that today and moving forward that all this energy around Trump that's supposed to be based around restoring the Constitution by enforcing, laws dealing with illegal migrants, etc. But in actuality, it appears to be uh, just the same old consolidation of power into the hands of a few. It's just that people go, these are our oligarchs, Elon and Trump. And honestly, it's not my goal to be the grumpy old man on the Muppet shows and critical. And but that's what we're having to face is that everybody's attention is on following Trump and excusing everything he does, such as annexing Palestine. Um, so there needs to be a serious effort for the people that don't want to be just on the Trump train. I'm not, if he does things that are good, I do support that. I've been happy to hear about a lot of the things going on, especially this USA revelation of specifics about what we know about all this money being wasted illegally. That's it. Okay, and here we go. pull all this off of here. I'll have Clint's links as well as Dr. Cuddy's in the description, so you can go visit their stuff. All right. Okay, so this is episode, I think that means 150 of Clint's podcast here. And we're starting at 446 here.
July 7th, 2014, by Dennis Cuddy, PhD. I asked Jim if he was familiar with this. By the way, this is about the world government conspiracy, the New World Order, documenting all these fucking pieces of shit. Because Jim's a skeptic and he doesn't believe, so we're gonna have to kick his ass with words. I asked Jim if he was familiar with the noted author Jack London, and when Jim responded affirmatively, I asked him if he was aware that in London's Iron Heel 1907, the author referred to W.J. Ghent's G-H-E-N-T book, Our Benevolent Feudalism, 1902, as quote, the textbook the oligarchs, end quote, would use to rule the future in the future. See relevant article, New World Order by A. M. Rosenthal in the New York Times, May 5th, 1998, page A31. Jim had not heard of Ghent, so I informed him that Ghent had been the editor of the American Fabian and the feudal future, and that our feudal future was laid out in Ghent's book, which described the importance of group fidelity, quote unquote, and indicated that, quote, the teachings of the book, the sermons, the editorials, and even the plays at the theaters will be skillfully and persuasively molded. During President G.H.W. Bush's administration, he highlighted the term New World Order, along with the term points of light, which he connected with service. Jim was familiar with this, but he expressed real surprise when I told him that although I didn't believe that President Bush was an occultist, the only other individual I had found who emphasized order and points of light connected with service was Alice Bailey. By the way, Schittler said New World Order, and other people said points of light, or the thousand, quote unquote, who was being occultist in the first half of the 20th century and whose works were first published by Lucifer Publishing Company. Jim spoke up saying, quote, the New World Order was just President George H.W. Bush's expression for a more global cooperation, such as UN peacekeeping efforts. And, quote, I remind Mikhail, well, I guess, wait, that was the end quote, sorry. That was Jim, the skeptic, speaking of that. Jim Mikhail Gorbachev on December 7th, 1988 had used the term New World Order before President Bush had used it. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. That's interesting. I know Schittler used it. Schittler in the New World Order. Bush, Gorbachev, bunch of fucking internationalists. I emphasized that this new cooperation could only occur after alleged demise of the Soviet Union, after which the United States military was greatly downsized, and we were therefore forced to rely upon more and more on peacekeeping efforts. I'm talking about the UN, their fucking communist socialist war machine, under the auspices of United Nations, headed by Boutros Ghali, who was a vice president of Socialist International, as has been Harlem Brundtland, former prime minister of Norway, who elected director general of the World Health Organization on January 27th, 1998, until his election as US Secretary General. The quote old-fashioned frontal assault, end quote, Richard Gardner's term of trying to use the quote communist dynamic, end quote, mentioned by Lincoln Bloomfield, as a means of facilitating a dialectical quote compromise for peace, end quote, the synthesis of the U.S. and USSR into a world socialist government. And now giving way to Richard Gardner's, quote, end run around national sovereignty, end quote, using the alleged demise of the communist, quote unquote, communist to cause the U.S. to believe, quote, peace in our time, end quote, a term mistakenly used by British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain after negotiating with Hitler, allowed downsizing our military, therefore forcing our great reliance upon UN peacekeeping efforts.
Okay, so the main idea is that just because Trump is the president doesn't mean that world socialism, this communitarianism, this merger of East and West, the US and Russia, to form a world government that's going on full steam ahead. I don't think that there's going to be this anti war Trump that people hope for, such as we see with his annexation of Palestine. Okay, so what else? We got let's just look up a little bit about Dr. Cuddy. So this is at Amazon. This is his book Conspiracy, which came out 2015, evidently. It's got a 4.9 of 14 ratings. Conspiracy, a secret plan or agreement to carry out an illegal or harmful act, especially with political motivation. Have you ever wondered how people like H.G. Wells seemed to know what was going to happen? These people either had to be privy to the plans of the power elite, or they were extraordinarily intelligent at figuring out what the secret cabal running the world had planned. An ancient saying, Ordo ab chao, order out of chaos, applies to the power elite's machinations. And so as to make particular problems seem intractable, like the whole scam of Israel's existence. They haven't made any serious effort towards a two-state solution. Now, there's not enough land that the Palestinians own for that to even be hope. They select global leaders who feign incompetence. This is one way the American people are manipulated. In the end, the political candidates and the power elite controls both major parties. So, yeah, I mean, I would be interested to figure out more about what his solution is to all of this stuff. Hmm. Let's see what AI says, just out of curiosity. Dr. Dennis Cuddy. Okay. What is a solution proposed by Dr. Dennis Cuddy to address encroaching world government fascism? Ooh, I don't know if it really asked it there, so let's try it again. Yeah, see, that's this worked well because that's essentially what I was thinking, that he is proposing some kind of solution within the system. Let's see if we find anything here. News with views. I don't think there's going to be any solution provided here. Yeah. This is my problem with, I mean, I just am like, we know all of this stuff, and knowing this hasn't helped any of us. So that's kind of my essential conundrum with all of this stuff. Wonder what how he testified before members of Congress on behalf of the Department of Justice. Let's look at more of his stuff here. It's right there, Chad. Okay. Okay. Dennis Lawrence Cuddy, PhD, is a historian and political analyst who received his PhD from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, majoring in American history and minoring in political science. He has taught at the university level and has been a political and economic risk analyst for an international consulting firm, according to financialsense.com, if I'm reading that correctly. Additionally, Cuddy has been a senior associate with the U.S. Department of Education. I wonder what he thinks about this closing of the department. Be interesting. Let's see if we see this. Let's look him up here. I heard that Trump was talking about axing that today. I saw that on Twitter. Trump proposes dismantling U.S. Department of Education. That's right there. Well, let's see. Dennis P. Cuddy. What's his middle name? We don't know. I don't think that would be him. Hmm. Surely he's on here. Well, let's look. This is not a real website. Not to be rude. I mean, is this his? But you know, you don't need. I'm all about '90s retro internet and whatever. But I mean, what? It's just odd to me. Where's this guy's? Why is it that hard to find somebody this famous's website? Because that's why being a webmaster is a thing. Hmm. University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC, College of Natural and Mathematical Science, Masters of Administrative Sciences. Okay, so this is going to be more academic synopsis of his work. Currently the administrator of the Interdisciplinary Life Sciences Building, which opened in 2019. Previously, he was the manager of administration and facilities at the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Dennis has researchers specializing in immunochemistry, analytical chemistry, molecular sensors, nanomaterials, and molecular biology. So what does that mean? He's more focused on the art and science of administration or something. I mean, how is it connected? That's interesting. He has the overlap with all this. Must be a biochemist as well or something. It's interesting. Okay, so let's not. I can't really parse any of this data here. Well, I tried to find more information there on the fly, which can be tough. But yeah, I would like to see what is it about there being such a wall to action You know, it's like, I know this is an obvious thing to say, but it's just annoying. It's like, because it's like, this is an actual academic, you know, and I'm down here with these self-taught wannabe scholars. No, I don't mean it in a negative way, but, you know, what action are we doing? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, just why do they not? It's just like seems to be should be a requirement. I don't need just research about history. I need solutions. Same for me, little guy here on my post that I'm doing. What solutions am I providing? I don't know. I'm trying to get us to communicate and establish what an expert like this has been able to achieve. And then you got somebody in the cheap seats that's repeating that information. Clint, third world assassin. Okay. Um, yeah, I guess I would just kind of harass us all. What are we really doing? And that we should, as usual, I'm trying to establish these links, weaving us together so that we cooperate more than all of us. You know, the problem is, yes, we need to be decentralized, but we need to be organized. So I think that that's the fundamental problem that we're facing because all these people are sucked into Trump because of the populism, the popularity, the pop culture phenomenon that he is, but they don't recognize that. I mean, it's just you know his form of globalism. You've got the freedom cities are Trump's version of the 15-minute cities. You know, and we see all this big tech stuff. So I'll just leave it at that. But be sure to check out Third World Assassin. I thank you for your time. And also be sure to check out Dr. Dennis Cuddy. Thank you.